Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a really good week here. And for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. We are here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. For those of you who tune in every single week, welcome back. And for those of you who are watching the replay on YouTube, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m., we are here live, or you might be watching the replay. So welcome. Thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know where you're tuning in from today. I am in Tampa Bay. Many of you know I'm usually somewhere else in the world here. But today I am in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, where I reside. So again, welcome, and thanks for joining. Blessings to you as well. And for those of you, again, new to Mental Health Moment, so Mental Health Moment is all about becoming the best version of who you are, right? So you can show up for yourself and show up for those around you. And hi, good evening from Charlotte, North Carolina's in the house. Banning, California's in the house. Welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Richmond, Virginia's here as well. So last month, in case you missed it, we talked all month long about self-love, about positive self-talk. Again, in this idea of how do you become the best version of who you are so you can show up for yourself and for those around you. So this month, we're going to be continuing on that journey, really on this wellness journey. And this month, we're talking about what do you need to release, right? And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Zephyr Hills in the house. Welcome. LA, New Jersey, Cincinnati, Ohio, Gainesville, Florida, Texas, Chicago, New Orleans, Atlanta, Canton, Ohio. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. So you can tell me in the chat, but today the question is, I want you to really think about what do you need to release. And when I say that, because this time of year, what tends to happen is we get overwhelmed. The year's just started. We're a couple of months in. And for some of us, we need what I always like to call a mental health detox, meaning there's emotional things, there's mental things that you need to release, maybe some physical things as well, but also that mental clutter, that emotional distress, the stress, all of that. What do you need to release, right? So put it in the chat here. And thanks for those who are joining from Washington, D.C. They said blessed, wonderful. Baltimore, Maryland's in the house, Nevada, Birmingham, Alabama. So for some of you, you might be thinking about, okay, I still need to release my self-doubt, right? Or my negative self-talk. Again, we all have it. For those of you who missed it, you can always watch the replays on YouTube. Last month, we talked all month long about positive self-talk, about self-love, and that journey, because that's a whole journey in and of itself, right? And by no means, you all, just as a reminder, by no means do I want you to think that in that short little month we had last month, that those couple of talks are going to really magically change you into a new person necessarily, but it's the beginning or the continuation of the journey of self-love, of the journey of your positive self-talk, right? But it is a process. We're all in this process together. Someone said, I need to release some family members. So here's the thing. So for some of you, again, you have to, I know it's hard. We're all busy. We're all running around, but you have to really, step one of this, you really have to take some quiet time, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's in the morning time, the afternoon, evening, whatever it is that's best for you, and really think about, what do I need to release right now? Now, what you say today is going to be different at the end of this year. It's going to be different next year. It's going to be different the year after, right? Which is why we have to do this pretty often. So someone said in the chat here, I need to release some family members. And that's the thing. You have to know for you, sometimes it is the amount of time that you spend with certain individuals that you may feel is draining your energy, you may feel is toxic for you in some way. You yourself have to examine, right? That type of relationship. Like someone said, sometimes it's people that we need to release. Sometimes it's things. Sometimes it's jobs. I'm not telling anybody to go and quit their jobs. I'm not saying that, but to rethink, right? Certain places you're in, certain environments you're in, and how can you maybe spend less time there if you can't completely get out of that situation, but spend less time in those environments. Maybe it's something within you, like within yourself, like your own, again, the self-talk that we talked about, or the self-doubt, or thinking you're not good enough, or whatever it is, those types of things, right? And I shared with you, vulnerably shared with you, that has definitely been a process for me over time as well. Just a lot of things starting from childhood, a lot of things people told me I couldn't do, and because of the way I looked, because of the way I talked, because of the way I this, because of the way I that, right? There's all these things that come up. And then throughout life, having to really be like, wait a minute, yes, I am enough. Wait a minute, yes, I am okay. Wait a minute, let me not have this negative self-talk. Wait a minute, let me not have this self-doubt, right? It's a journey. And then you all, I promise you all, as you start to release whatever it is that you need to release, what'll tend to happen when you're growing as a person, when you're growing emotionally and mentally and spiritually, physically, all these great things, your new self, if you will, that the version of your new self will be like, wait a minute, now I have to release more things, right? Because you've grown into this other person that has a different set of needs, which is okay, right? Which is okay. Um, Someone said here, uh, good morning from you. Good morning as well to you. Brooklyn, New York's in the house. Connecticut is here. Maryland is here. Someone said, I need to release energy vampires. I love that phrase, you all. I absolutely love that phrase because it's so true that we know that there are individuals sometimes, or things, or whether it's social media or traditional media or people or whatever it is, that is literally sucking the life out of you. That is what an energy vampire is, if you will. Just sucking the life out of you, is draining you. These are the types of things you need to think about. How can I release these things? And then how can I add in the things that is fulfilling me, right? That is nourishing your soul. Like, how can you put that, more of that, back into your life, right? Because it's one thing to take something out, and then another thing to add something back in. But first we need it. But step one is we need to think about what do we release, right? Oh, I love that too. Someone said, I love how mainstream mental health and healing has become in the Black community. I absolutely do too. As you all, as many of you all know, globally, I know you're tuning in really from all over. There still continues to be a huge stigma when it comes to mental health, when it comes to mental health treatment, particularly in Black and brown communities globally, right? However, though, there hopefully is a shift happening, more awareness, more education, and there's more acceptance of mental health as a whole, or wellness, or becoming the best version of yourselves in mental health treatment. So it's so exciting. I agree with you. I love to see it too. Someone says they're joining from Nigeria. Welcome, welcome. Indiana's in the house. Toxic relationships, someone said they need to release. Yes. And again, when you think about the toxic relationships that you may need to release in your life, this may be a romantic relationship, this may be a friendship, this may be a coworker, this may be a family member, right? We have all sorts of different types of relationships with people. You, though, again, in the quiet time that you guys can spend with yourselves, have to really think about what are my needs, right? When you think about what you need to release, someone said, again, toxic relationships, but what exactly are your needs? Are your needs to spend less time with this person? Are your needs to not spend any time with this person? Are your needs to heal the relationship with that person, right? Like, it really, there's a lot of different ways to go when it comes to different types of relationships in your life. But you, again, have to take that time, that spiritual time, that solo time with yourself, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's spending time in prayer, if you believe in prayer, whether it's meditation, whatever it is that you can just take that time for you, to really sort through a lot of those feelings. But yeah, that's a good one for sure. Someone said they're letting go of the guilt of wanting a divorce after being separated for so long. And again, just like we talked about before, when it comes to relationships, it's a lot of spending time with yourselves, you all, to really understand, what do I need to release? What do I need in this moment? And for some of you, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but for some of you, you may say, you know what? I've spent the time with myself and I can't figure this out. I don't know what I need to do in my relationship. I don't know what I need to release right now, but I'm struggling mentally or emotionally. Then maybe you need to seek a mental health professional, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people who are stuck, right? Just have this kind of stuck energy, not confused, don't have clarity, but really stressed out and overwhelmed. So, as I always tell you, you always can contact me, drnikishahammond.com, or reach me. You can send me a message on any social media platform. I'll do my best to try to connect you with a mental health professional in your area or give you resources or whatever it is, because sometimes you have to take that step and then you start to sort of sort out what is best for you. But sometimes you already know, right? So there's different things. Someone said, I need to release the fear of failure. Ooh, that's a really good one. Um, that is also definitely a journey. So the person that shared that, just know that there are many people, that is a huge, huge fear that many people have. The fear of failure, the fear of success too, is actually a really huge fear. So the one thing I would say for those of you who have that type of fear is to make sure to be patient with yourself. As I always remind you all, this is really a journey. This Most things when it comes to mental health is nothing is really overnight, but is a journey. And in that journey, in that time that you're working on releasing, also making sure to understand that we all sort of work on different timetables, if you will. So for some of you, releasing this, whether it's fear of failure or toxic relationships or whatever it is, for some of you it's it's you're going to feel that release in a couple months. For some of you it's a couple years. For some of you maybe it's a couple days, if it's something small, right? There's not really per se a right or wrong. You have to do what is best for you and your wellness journey. Greetings from Virginia. Welcome, welcome. Someone said, releasing childhood trauma. Again, another really, really great one. Many of us, trauma comes in many different forms. And for those of you who didn't tune in last week, I actually will be talking about trauma and family recovery at a conference coming up this month, Saturday, March 25th in Ocala. You can always go to drnikishahammond.com if you need more information about it. But that definitely is a topic that I'll be getting into because it can be very heavy when it comes to childhood trauma. The good news is, though, uh, again, depending on your needs, there are a lot of people who are especially trained in that area if you need help when it comes to mental health professionals, or if your friends and family and those around you who support you are helpful in that journey as well. That's another option. There's a lot of really great options when it comes to that, but that's a really good thing to admit, um, to admit that you need to release. Good evening to you as well. George is in the house. I love that. Long Island's in the house. Welcome, welcome. Self-care for myself. hmm Someone said the comment was made to me about being there for others, but who was there for me? Yes. And great question. When you all think about, we talk so much on mental health moment. So again, if, for those of you who are new, welcome to Mental Health Moment. You can always catch the replays on my YouTube page, because we talk a lot about self-care on Mental Health Moment so many times, because it's so critical, so important, so true. Sometimes we're just there for so many other people, which is not a bad thing, but we have to be there for ourselves also. You all, you have to show up for yourself in order to be the best version of yourself for you and everyone else around you, right? You cannot just pour out and help everyone around you and you are falling apart, right? Because there will be no you to help everyone around you that you're trying to help. So you have to make sure you're taking the time with the self-care. You have to make sure that you're working on releasing mentally, emotionally, these things. And again, I know there's some things that are so hard, you all. I know they're hearing, as a psychologist, hearing thousands and thousands of stories from people all over the world, from a lot of different walks of life. I really get it. And I really understand there's some really difficult life events that we go through. So I just want to share that with you. I don't want to gloss over and try to minimize any pain that you're experiencing. So again, this when I talk today about releasing, it is not like, okay, overnight you're releasing emotional pain. Let's say there's things that you may have been dealing with for a long time, and it takes time, but it's important that you start that journey as you're ready. So thank you for sharing that. Great one. Someone said they're here from Illinois. Welcome. Texas is in the house. New Jersey. Philippines is here. Welcome, welcome. Someone said, I value my time, my being, and I cherish my growth. I love that. So good. So good. I love it. Las Vegas is in the house as well. Someone said more awareness is happening in the Black community regarding domestic violence and murder suicide. Absolutely. Toronto's in the house, Orlando's in the house, and Louisville is here. Welcome, welcome. So again, for those of you who are just tuning in here, is Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment today and all this month. We are talking about different ways for you to think about ask yourself the question, what do you need to release, right? So when you think about Texas in the house, welcome. When you think about your wellness journey, when you think about where you're at in this journey, this is really a question. I love to talk to you all about this probably quarterly, because this is not a question just for today, but it is a practice that I hope you'll put in your toolkit, if you will, your wellness toolkit, about what do I need to release? Where am I at? It's the checking in with yourself, those types of things. So I want you to really remember that, because again, what you want to release today is not necessarily going to be the same thing even 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. It's not necessarily the same thing, right? We're at different points in our journey. South Carolina is in the house as well. Texas is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Another person from Texas. Welcome. So if you all need me at any time, you can always go to drnikishahammond.com. I am extremely grateful for you all. I love when you all show up to Mental Health Moment and you're telling me what you're working on. You're, tell me the different things you like to release today. Very, very important. Really important to dedicate the time to yourself. Again, when you think about, if you're stuck and you're like, well, I don't even know what to release, I'm so overwhelmed. The best thing you can do is really taking the quiet time. It's so imperative. Our world is loud, you all. Like, we have so much going on around us. If it's not something in the news, something you saw on social media, something that's happening in your family life, something that's happening to you, like, there's just so much. And we can really, when we get too caught up in all of that, it's overwhelming, frankly, understandably. But when you get to the times when you can have the quiet times to really think about you, which I know is hard for some of us to be like, wait a minute, how do I focus on me? But to think about you and to ask yourself the questions. Most times you know the answer when it comes to your emotional health, your mental health. But it's the fact that you may need to take more time to really sit with yourself and know what you need to release, right? Happy to be here. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. Happy to have you. Thank you for joining. Someone said, I have decided to bring pause into my timetable. I try to pause before I answer. I realize the smartest doesn't mean answering first, but practicing listening skills. Love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was just seeing something. Gosh, I forgot where I saw it at. It was somewhere on Instagram. I love to watch a lot of different inspirational posts and follow inspirational accounts on Instagram, and share it in my stories for you all. But I saw that about the pause, like really working on adding a pause into your life. So again, sometimes we take things out, right? We're releasing, sometimes we add things in, but working on that pause, like the pause before you make certain decisions, the pause before you're responding to someone, the pause before you're doing certain things where you're not clear on, right? So those type of pauses, and make it a conscious effort to do that. That is very life-changing as well. I love it. I love it. Love it. Someone said, I continue to feel stuck. Yes, feeling stuck is a very, very, very common thing to experience. Really, really common. A lot of us feel stuck, but how to get past that stuckness, if you will, is really taking the time for ourselves, really taking some downtime as much as you can, whatever's feasible, taking those quiet moments. I've shared with this last year. I shared with you all a practice that I started. I think it's been almost a year actually, that I've been doing it, and it's really life-changing, frankly. But it's when I thought about what I needed to release, last year when I was thinking about that question, one of the things I realized was, as soon as I was waking up in the morning, I would go straight to my cell phone. So I would go straight to check Instagram. I would be checking emails. I would be checking, wait, what do I have to do on my to-do list? Like, that is literally the first thing when I woke up. That's what I used to do, because I think the night before I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. I don't have any trouble sleeping. Thank goodness. But as soon as I wake up, it's like, what do I have to do for today? Right. And just checking all these messages, checking social media. That's how I used to wake up. And I realized I was like, wait a minute, I need to release that. So I didn't completely release Instagram. Okay. So I spend time on social media. I love sharing, as I mentioned, the inspirational things on there or resources or whatever it is on my different social media channels. However, though, I needed to take a step back. And what I needed to introduce when I was doing my mental health detox last year, what I needed to introduce as soon as I woke up was gratitude. I have still done this. I think it's been almost a year now since I started the practice. But as soon as I wake up, I go into gratitude mode. So for me personally, I take the time, spend a couple minutes. Well, for me, spiritually, spending time with God in prayer, and then thinking about what is one thing I'm grateful for in that day, just one. So again, I'm not telling you I'm not a morning person. You all, many of you already know if you're watching Mental Health Moment, I am not a morning person. So I'm not one of those people. I know many of my colleagues that will wake up at 3, 4 in the morning and all that good stuff, which is amazing. I'm not going to do that because I'm a night owl, but I do get up slightly earlier and have this approach in the morning, which doesn't take a lot of time. But again, thinking about what is one thing that I'm grateful for today. And again, when I say one thing beyond like family, friends, like which we always say, like, what are you grateful for? When we're like health, family, friends, or life, which is great. Like, be grateful for those things. But when you really get very specific and you think about, man, what really happened yesterday that I'm so grateful for? Or what's really happening today in this present moment, like this day that I'm so grateful and happy for. And that's how I start my days now. Right. So that was a thing last year. Again, what did I need to release? Okay, I need to release social media as soon as I wake up in the morning because I was just, or the emails or all those sorts of things, my to-do list. And then I needed to add in, okay, now I want to work on spiritual growth and also gratitude, right? So that's an example when I say today, like, what do you need to release? And then what do you need to add back in? That's an example. And again, you don't have to do exactly what I did, but that's an example unless you want to. But that's an example of something that I did that I would encourage you to try as well. And it was very, very um very life changing for me because it's just a whole new perspective every single morning, right? We're not going to always have the best day, right? We have bad days, that's normal. But when you just wake up with a spirit of gratitude, when you really think about, when you start your day with a spirit of gratitude, connecting whatever higher power you may or may not believe in, but just starting your day like that, it really changes the whole course of your day. um Someone said, yeah, someone said it was a very tough time for me in the past. In my early 20s and as a teenage mom, I got away and raised my 6 children alone. God was my spiritual guide. Beautiful. And that's what I mean. Like, and when we're thinking about releasing today, what you need to add back in, for some of you, it is mental health. For some of you, it's emotional. For some of you, it's relationships, like we talked about. For some of you, it's spirit, like spiritual growth. Like, there's all sorts of different areas that you need to kind of release, add back in, right? So again, connecting with yourself. Take care. God bless you as well. Um, yep. Someone said, I'm going with me, myself, and I. Before I give others, I ask, did I care? Did I take care of me, myself, and I? I love that approach so much because again, someone asked me a couple mental health moments ago when we talked about this issue of really starting to think about putting ourselves first. Well, what about selflessness? I remember that was one of the questions that came up. Um, but again, when you think about when you really take care of yourself, you are really not just taking care of yourself for you. Like, you are, that's a part of it. But again, the whoever is around you, they get to benefit from that too. When you're the best version of who you are, like your family, your friends, your coworkers, whoever, they they are seeing a better version of who you are. Like, that's a great thing, right? So it is for you and also those around you. Because I know many of you, we've talked about before in the chat, like, want to, you have people you're taking care of, whether it's your parents, whether it's your kids, your grandkids, or whomever else, like, right? We're taking care of people around us. But again, so we get to show up in the best version of who we are for them too, right? Which betters their life. So it's about us and it's about others as well. Yep. Someone said, I used to meditate, but I need to get back to prayer meditation. But running a business and working an extra overnight job, I'm so tired and stuck. You know what? And so, yes, I hear you. I hear you absolutely. Which is why, again, I'm being very honest and transparent with you all. I'm not. I say my um, thing I will say is do what works for you. Some of you all have a lot of time in the morning or at night or whatever part of your day. And some of you, like you meant, like this person just mentioned, you're like, I feel like I barely have any time. If you feel like you barely have any time, what I always say, we talked about that another mental health moment ago, is to make sure, try your best in your day to take a minute, 1 minute for yourself, 60 seconds. You can even use your cell phone. You can time yourself. Okay. I'm serious. Like 60 seconds out of your day. That I started a long time ago, years ago, because I felt like I was so overwhelmed. I didn't have any time and I was running around. I was like, okay, 1 minute, right? And I started that and I still do that now. But now I get to do more time because over time, then your brain goes, wait, I want like more me time and more self-care. But even that in and of itself, when you can slow down, take deep breaths, if you need to meditate, say a quick prayer, whatever it is in that minute, um, that can be really helpful as well. Someone said, yes, I find that spending my time with God each morning, it gives me a sense of peace. And I know that I leave my days of activities in God's hands. Absolutely. So again, you all, this release that I'm talking about today, it comes in many different forms. This release, and what do you need to add back in? This is a Yes, this is a process. I always say, I think I say it like 12 times every mental health moment, but it's a process, it's a journey. It's a process, it's a journey because it is, right? And again, there's just things, life just happens. So where you're at today, it's different in a couple years. It's different, right? Last year, we have a lot of things changing. Um, Someone said, absolutely true. I can extend two hands instead of one if I'm mentally healthy. I love that. I love that. Absolutely. And someone said, yes, I can relate to this. Yes, 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 yes. Um, so again, if you all need me, you can always go to drnikishahammond.com to reach out. Again, if you are in the Ocala, Florida area, March 25th, I will be speaking at a conference for the early childhood conference. I'll be keynoting that event and talking a lot about family mental health and trauma and recovery and how do we get through, especially after COVID, and all the changes that have happened. So I'm really excited about that. So again, if you need that information or future events, I have some future events coming up. You can always go to drnikishahammond.com. If you happen to be in that area, I would love to kind of see some of you all maybe out there at some of these events coming up this year. Someone said we need to release the demands and expectations from this world. It's way too much. It absolutely is. The good news is, though, that's a whole nother mental health moment for next week. But no, but the good news about that, about the demands and expectations, like you talked about, from this world, is it's not easy to do, but we ourselves get to choose what we internalize. We get to choose what we really listen to. We get to choose what we allow to be a part of us, which can either hurt us or allow us to grow. So yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that on the next mental health moment as well. But again, if you all need me, drnikishahammond.com, or you can connect with me on any social media channel. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. I will see you all live next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Have an amazing week. And again, if you didn't know today, it's totally fine. You don't have to know right on the spot here, but take the time this week to really think about, okay, what do I need to release for you, for your growth? And what do you need to add back into your life? Okay. And I'll see you all next time on Mental Health Moment with Dr. Hammond. Have a great week, you all. Bye, y'all.